So as we're going through this identifying and evaluating strategic options, right? And just to recap, so if you remember, what is the role that you're playing in this case study?
Finance manager.
Yes. And what the work are you going to be doing?
It's the projects and stuff like that. So we'll have to do a lot of analysis and strategic decisions and stuff like that.
Correct. So your role entails, it states, you're performing the role of a senior finance accountant, and you're going into strategic projects, evaluating strategic projects, right? So therefore, this is going to be heart of your activities, identifying, evaluating strategic options, right? And what would you be doing? Why are you going to do this? Is because you need to find out how to compete in the market, methods of growth. A company, you can see, has been growing rapidly, right? It has been there for some time. It has been growing, but it's a large company. And we also say that there is a lot of competition in the market. Okay, so if you look at Porter's generic strategies, right? Let's look at the Porter's generic strategies. Okay, where do you think that these guys are in? Which area do you think are they in? Leadership, differentiation, or focus? Tarun? What about you, Swati?
And right. Focus is well.
Differentiation in what sense? Sorry.
Yeah. As compared to others, because they have a fast-moving line.
Mm-hmm. And how creating themselves?
They have in every period or something like that. So they have like
right.
It's like they keep having different designs within regular.
Right. Okay. And Tarun, anything else that you can come up with for differentiation?
No, the designs are key, and keep on changing the, or bringing the new stuff, right, to customers, or to tackle the changes in taste of the customers.
And you also mentioned, Swati, that they go with a focus strategy for some of the products, right? Yeah, and product that you're saying that they're going into the focus strategy. Is that it?
Probably more like because they have differentiated products and they have 91 million types of products. So they also have two different, they'll have different segments within their shop as well. I think this also, I think they have different segments and stuff like that. So they can using that on the different types of clothing they want. Like for example, they can go for the those in a different section. They can go for the casuals and stuff. So they can focus on different types of designs within the same shop.
So what somewhat like, if you look at car manufacturers like Toyota, right? They have different for different market segments. They have come in and then provide cars, right? Different makes.
Right. Also, the 10% of the products are like highly specialized.
Yes.
So probably have a focus market as well.
Correct. Yes. When you look at the company forces and the generic strategies, they have put this together quite nicely. Okay, and the advantages and new disadvantages of both. Okay, new entrants for substitutes, customers, suppliers, and industry rivalry. Okay, this is these a really good feel of these guys are working in the market. So for a new entrant, right? If these guys are in a differentiation strategy, loyalty and perceived uniqueness are entry barriers. Do you think? I think it is, because we discussed this, I think, in the morning as well, where we said, for somebody to come into the market, it's going to be quite difficult, right? In the sense, these guys they're an established company, 9 million products, right? Lots of variety of products. There's a lot of supply chain things going on. It's not easy to set things up like this. So for a new entrant, it's going to be very difficult. Substitutes, right? Customization is weapon against substitutes. Now, substitutes, what do you think of this? Substitutes.
This fashion industry is like very dynamic and it's very vast. So there's a lot of substitutes, considering that they're fast moving. They're interesting than the other people, but they have a lot of competition.
Right. But what about you, Tarun? Anything here that you can?
I think they're wrong, right, in whatever they do. So I think there is
a brand loyalty. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So it's a brand consciousness. People, the customers are going by the brand rather than maybe the quality is compromised in some cases. The substitutes would have an impact on you.
Right. Okay. So what we're thinking is that brand loyalty is going to keep them going.
Mm-hmm.
So they have differentiated their product because they bring in. So I'm just going to write things down how I'm going to differentiate, right? So in what way will I say? Start is saying?
Yeah.
Start any way. Start design and also speed to market.
Yeah.
Market.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty quick. Anything else that you can think of? How am I going to differentiate? And the brand, of course.
Stores or the
and,
how they're here.
Stores.
And now they're doing internet sales, so through their website.
Do you think it's a differentiation, though? Do you think? Because it's normal, isn't it?
They have different price, perhaps, catering to a certain segment.
Yeah, I'm going to put internet and the question mark and come back to it, right, to see what we're going to say. And what also say is there are barriers for market, right? Then we also say that substitutes. What threat do you think? Do you substitute or medium?
Yes.
Yeah, or medium.
There's a lot of fashion. There's a lot of competition in the fashion industry.
Right.
Considering that these people have not gone a lot into internet shopping.
Yes, I think so. There is going to be a medium threat here because if you just say where they are and just for a minute take their eye off the ball in the brand, they're really going to suffer with the sales because they're competing on brand. There's a lot of other products around. Okay, so I would say it's medium.
A lot of other companies also that produce moving goods, so it's not like they're the only one. Education has its own 3 4 shops that brands that
Mm-hmm.
have these
Mm-hmm.
fast-moving goods.
Right. Okay. So let's go into rivalry. Unique features reduce direct competition. Right. So this thing, we're trying to make it as unique as possible. Right. So our competition reduces. Okay. Now, focus strategy. Let's very quickly go to generic competitive strategies now. This a very interesting one where there are the strategy clock by Bowman. If you remember, Swati, we used to kind of struggle with this, isn't it? A bit at the beginning. We had this strategy clock saying, this is another kind of model that is used, okay, where the price, you say you're stuck in the middle, you are, you know, in deficit, okay, destined for ultimate failure. Why is it? When the price is high, right? When the price is high, as well as perceived value is kind of not all that great. Okay, you are not be that, you're not going to be that great, but you think that these guys are stuck in kind of situation.
So
I think we have to, one thing that we don't know really is about our product profitability. Right? Maybe they have ranges, product ranges as well, which don't know enough information about. Okay, that is concerning. That may come in as in your unseen material. So product ranges, this, right? And so have to do is product ranges of product probability analysis. Okay. Why similar to product profitability analysis?
Yeah, ascertain which products are more profitable, right? So first of all, what is their product mix, like whichever is fast selling, right?
Yes.
To low selling, and then whichever is higher profitability could be mix and match.
Right.
Example, the one which is fast selling may not be as profitable, right?
Yes.
So all those information.
Okay. And the other thing, why am I doing it in ranges? What's the reason I'm doing it in ranges? Because of products, right? It is not possible for me to do per product. So I need to kind of aggregate it in some way so that I can then analyze in chunks, right? To make sense out of it. Okay. So to do this here above, I need big data. Okay. Again, this is where big data can be used because I get lots and lots of information, right? And I really cannot analyze these things with a normal Excel spreadsheet. It's possible. Okay. Any other thoughts? So into Ansoff matrix, right? Ansoff matrix. Anything that you remember about Ansoff matrix? Are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with it.
Right. So, able to talk to us about how we can use Ansoff matrix in this scenario. Right. Okay. To hear from you, Ansoff matrix and our view.
No.
What?
Can be very helpful because see, we have a lot of products,
Yeah.
have existing products, but we want an increasing market. Like at the end of the case study, it was said that we have this issue of new markets. Like we want new markets. So I think using the products that we have, we can expand our stores, number of stores, and we can go for market penetration or something like that.
Right. So, looking into market penetration, or new markets. What is the growth strategy?
New markets. So,
Yes. Right. So what they are trying to do, yes,
yeah.
going into new market with the current existing product.
Yeah.
They could also go into the existing market with new products, and that is, the market development, right? Into the existing market with existing products, you do a lot of thing and promotion and into the existing market, right? That is called the market penetration strategy. Okay. Another thing that we don't know is no, of course we know. I think the market how much market share we've got, right? In our case study, thought I saw it somewhere.
See that.
So, yeah.
Right.
There is no information on competition, the size of the market.
Right. So this is something that we need to find out as well. What is the market share, right, in the markets that we are operating in? So that will be a good kind of indication. Should we go market penetration well, or should we focus on expanding? But it seems like the main idea is to go into the growth strategy is going into new markets with the existing products, right? So that's kind of clearly stated. I think they will go into diversification. Swati, what do you think?
Actually, still they shouldn't because they're already handling a lot of products. And if they go their core competencies, it would be more difficult for them.
Right.
But this personal views, I'm not very sure about this.
Right. Yeah, what you're saying is diversification, right? We pose to the existing
Yeah.
for the current. Yeah. Right. See, we are very large, complex business, right? But maybe so that you may get a question like this, right? Where they will say the company is planning on diversification, backward or forward integration, right? And they have to critique it, right? And state what are the facts, right? Advantages of doing it, what are the disadvantages of doing it, and then come up with the risks as well, right? That is quite possible question because all you get questions like this in the case study because I think for them to go into expansion, right? The quick way for them to go into expansion because they can go and acquire some stores in another country, right? That would be the way of going into that country instead of starting from scratch. Then you have to look at, well, is that a thing or a bad thing, right? You might go and acquire a supplier, right? You do that. What are the advantages and disadvantages, right? Depends on the supplier as well. Okay. And talk about the horizontal integration as well as vertical integration. Do look at it because these are some important areas that will have that may come for your exam. Okay, we spoke about the growth and the relation. How can we grow? Right? Well, we mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures, alliances, franchise, and licensing. Now we have franchising, right? That's the kind of growth that we have adapted. Right? More and more franchising comes. Okay, so they may choose to have that model going for some time, right? So very distinct advantages, but of course there are disadvantages in this pricing as well. Depends how it is structured. Okay. Questions here. Not go through too much in these ones because we about the growth. Now, merge acquisitions, right? This one, what typical things that the company may decide to merge with another company in another country. So what should we take into consideration here in a merger scenario? What approach it first? It's another project. I look at the SAF plus model. So I'll look at that. Then I will look at, because that covers the suitability, acceptability, feasibility, and sustainability. Right? It will kind of go into the space where it says, well, is it suitable for our strategy? Right? In line with our strategy. Okay. That question needs to be answered. Okay. The next one is the culture, risk. What about? Swati, any new questions?
I'm sorry, employee base also?
Right.
What is the capacity to be able to
Skills, right?
Yeah.
Employees, right? That cause a lot of issues for us. Okay. What else? From you, Tara?
You
That strategy.
like maybe Rio's strategy is to penetrate into these markets, right? These segments. Maybe the company they are acquiring focusing on some other. It blends well with the strategy of the company.
So this is where I said, is it aligned with our strategy? Is that the one that's saying?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you can think of? Well, okay. So then let's go into the next one. Key national expansion, right? Expand at all, whether to expand overseas at all, right? This is a big question because it has a lot of risks, right? Then which market enter, right? Mode of exporting, contract, division or subsidiaries. This is really, really interesting, very good page, right? Which kind of gives you a lot of into ask the questions, the right questions as to if you are expanding, should you go into a foreign market? Right? They're already there, right? But we need to think about the foreign exposure. Then, of course, them we need to think about when going into a foreign market, okay? Because they are quite high. The joint ventures, the advantages and disadvantages in joint ventures, alliances, diamonds, okay? Procession. This is much be this must come to us because we have 91 million products, right? So this is a good one for us to go through as well and see, if we have 91 million products, we really don't know how much we produce of each one of them, right? And imagine if you only produce like 10 of it at a not high end but medium, kind of medium to low end, 10 you produce, and really that's going to cost us a lot of money, right? So we need to really find out how much we produce of these 91 million. What is the frequency, the sale, etc. Okay. Anything here, Swati? One thing that you might say is when you are doing this product and cost realization, you will come across resistance. Okay, so that is something that you will have to face. Okay, how to deal with it? So this talk about change management. Okay, so change management is one thing that we will be using because there is definitely resistance to change. Okay, as you can think of. Anything else now? So let's our basic tests: suitability, feasibility, acceptability. Right? We spoke about that. Then we look at the cost of it. Right? Now, in strategy, anything that we try to do, we need to figure out the cost. Let us just very quickly go and say with that. Project, we are looking at investment. How are you going to fund it? First thing, what we need to figure out is it long term or short term? Okay. If it, well, how do you fund a long-term project? Any idea? Yes, debt is to have that matching concept, correct? So when it comes to a long-term investment, you're looking at long-term funding, right? So matching concept in funding that you need to be aware of. Okay. And think of Swati from your F3, because F3, right? So anything to remember. Yep.
I think something on netting and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. And we also need to think of the weighted average cost of capital, right? So our weighted average cost of capital needs to be considered. Funding, you also need to, what is the taxation right? It's a question mark, and it's a different kind of project that you're heading, and let's say you're going into another country where they're encouraging you to go in and invest. Okay, are there any tax days, right? So that's what I'm looking at. Okay. Now we looked at suitability, acceptability, feasibility. I will not go through these ones again, but just at a high level that I said, any project that you do, you need to look into the suitability, acceptability, feasibility, and sustainability of it. That is imperative that you go through that for any project. Right? Of course, we said you need to look at the risks as well. Okay. In a project, we look at the risks, right? Because the risk actually will drive the fund as well. Okay, so risk is an element, right? You want to consider for a project. So that what is my ROI? Okay, then we ROI. Okay, and what are the stakeholders? This will get covered under your SAFS model. Okay, it will, however, will still hide the stakeholders. Okay, because model will cover a lot of things. Now, so we'll so many. We've got all those, and now you're trying to. Now is the time for you to make decisions. How will you make these decisions? You have the cost-benefit analysis, ranking and scoring, sensitivity, decision matrix, decision trees, all these kind of different things that you can use, right? But you will have financial as well as non-financial factors to consider. At times, you might take on a decision to go in for a which is not actually giving you a positive ROI or positive NPV, right? Not ROI, but we do it for strategic reasons. But want to enter into the market and then explore. So because of that, we might just go there. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop at this at 6 because I want to listen about Tarun and Swati on the homework that they did. Okay. So 1 second. We'll stop at information strategy. And what we'll do is hand over to Tarun to give invitation, right? Tarun, do you want to send it to me? Have you got a slide or something?
I can share my screen.
Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. Mm-hmm. Then you can share. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. what I was supposed to do is, or was, look at CSR activities in the real value chain. I
Right.
basically picked the appendix 10, and which lists the primary and secondary activities involved in the value chain. I to cover, what all they could look at activities in each of the sub-functions. So, for example, the first one was in the primary activities are inbound logistics. So, look at the vehicle movement. Is there an opportunity to readjust the movement? Like basically, supplies to Asia could be from distribution center in Asia and for Europe, so as to reduce the carbon footprint. One to my mind only for inbound logistics. Any other I think of? Perhaps, yeah, it could be interesting to hear from others. Operations, there are plenty of things. Basically, the work conditions in Rio's factories as well as the suppliers. So goes for the suppliers as well. Everything actually goes for Rio as well as the suppliers. So gender diversity, minimum wage requirements, work safety, and procurement ethics, because we need to look at ethics and governance as well as part of CSR. Outbound logistics, same, which was in inbound logistics. Basically, the inbound was battery coming in, and this is going out. So just to match, so that to reduce the weight.
So any different ways of doing, reducing the carbon footprint? You said one thing is instead of sending stuff from Asia to Europe, you can have a place in Europe, different countries that offer, free zone, either close location and manufacture. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah. So have the suppliers, to suppliers in the country, and then see what all the requirements, what are the product lines are required for those countries. Yeah, that's how you match it. Less import and less export, basically, to in a nutshell, locally outsource.
Yeah, loads. So what about any ideas from you of factory? Anything?
The carbon footprint I had said last time also, we can probably use within countries, we can use alternatives of fueling like electricity and battery operated cars or something. Local things we can do that for it.
So one other thing that is reduce the carbon footprint is by using alternate fuel arrangement, right? So that's another way of doing, I suppose, the transport.
Yeah, in the secondary activities.
Okay, fine.
This is the primary, basically. Yeah. So the next one is sales and marketing. In sales and marketing, you could use all of these CSR initiatives, and make customer aware, customer and agency aware, also general public about the ability of the product, organic raw material used, in the manufacture of the goods, fair trade, so that they can use it effectively and then, make that popular. This responsiveness and bringing in more transparency for the customer. So responsiveness in terms of the feedback and transparency in terms of material used and the working conditions,
Understand the responsiveness of it linking to CSR. Can you explain that?
In terms of responses to the customers, right? So if there is any feedback from a customer or a complaint, so that in an efficient manner.
Okay.
It's not a direct CSR, but it's a indirect, in terms of
Okay.
making good corporate citizen, right?
Right.
Primary, and the next one towards the secondary activities. It's kind of repetitive, but in terms of organization, technology, and procurement. So in terms of organization, green practices could be, as we discussed, carbon footprint, alternative energy resources, and work environment, procurement practices, societies, employment opportunities, charity, trainings, and donation, fair trade.
Right.
Again, it could be, using of more technology, more transparency with the help of technology, audits, is using, the platform for audits because, compliance is one of the major for Rio. Code of conduct. So basically using technology to have all things.
One of the things with technology, you got to be careful, is that there is a lot of it that we use, like hardware, that is just going ill. So we have to be conscious of using technology that is really efficiently. That is the most important thing. For example, if it's a data centers, right? We have to make sure the data centers are use kind of, the technology that they use is quite good, right? They don't use so much energy in the data center. So there are data center ratings that's given as well, right? They will also use technology that is more cloud-based. So that will enable them to kind of get rid of this heavy machinery and use things in a more agile fashion. So from a technology perspective, there's a lot that they can do. The sharing concept. Again, you have to be duplicating effort in different regions, and you can have it as one instance and share it. Okay, so not what you're trying to say, Tarun, with technology. What you're saying, use more technology to monitor, right? But what I'm saying is, with technology comes hardware and storage, and that's what we're trying to kind of get away from and try to see how can we manage it more effectively, right? So you can see a lot of the companies moving away from the hardware and it's everything to the cloud and things like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's not only about the hardware, right? Because you try and get away or get rid of the paper forms, paper books and all the stuff. So that's why I meant like technology. It could be software only, than hardware.
You can write more automation. That's what you're saying.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So that you have to say automation to that kind of get to that next level of avoiding, more paper-based and manual things.
Yeah.
Correct? And this code of conduct you mentioned there?
But also tracking through software, right? Rather than using forms or monitoring, like for example, if complained by a supplier or a customer or employee, so make use of that, e-platform.
Right. What you can say there is, again, it's all pretty good what you stated, but when you write it, state that, automation where possible in processes. You're trying to say automation, all processes where possible, enable, efficiency and reduce paper and errors. Then procurement.
To bring transparency, have the policies in place for purchasing and vendor management, and focus on more source product, organic products, to help basically help the environment.
Right. Okay. Anything else from you, Swati?
I covered the whole thing.
Right. Then what about you, Fatih? Anything from you?
thing.
Right. Have you gone through that chain before? Right. Okay. So what we did was how CSR can link to our value chain. Okay, that's what the homework that Tarun had to do today. Okay. Yeah. So shall we pass on to Swati now?
Mm-hmm.
You know, screen?
Still, maybe it's just coming on.
Yeah, my laptop. I think.
Oh,
Okay.
I think it's taking. Yeah. Maybe.
And start explaining the. I was
Go
supposed
ahead.
to mention the value points and how do you maintain them.
Yeah. Yeah. Can say it.
Finally. Yeah. Okay. So the values that bring you off Rio are basically like the good innovative design, high quality clothes, and the really experienced designers. If they don't have good designers, then they probably won't be able to continue with their fast design and the new coming up with. They wouldn't probably be able to do that. So they really need good and experienced designers,
Right.
innovative design. And they need trusted suppliers which can provide them with the raw materials, um, like like it's wanted by days, they should probably be able to give them by that time. The
Right.
designers, so they need to have a proper database of designers because if on this one of the designers or like a major part of the designers leave, they need to have that database so that they can immediately recruit new designers. So they need to probably get through the different seminars that keep happening, go to colleges and hire students for internship programs, or they can go have seminars in college
Right.
to create awareness of Rio and operations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of your value points is
So
that
sorry,
suppliers.
that is also that means a risk, isn't it? These designers.
Right, it's a big risk in fact.
Mm-hmm.
You can handle a very large part of Rio's operations if
Right.
you not end up designing well or if designs are not acceptable. Within that particular period, Rio's reputation could go down to 10, I
Right. Yes.
Other value points is the good relations with suppliers because they have a credit rating system for their suppliers, so they only deal with the best. And because in case the kind of operations that Rio has, you definitely need to be very cordial or not cordial. You need to be very integrated with your suppliers
Yes.
because they provide you with the raw materials, they provide you with the finished goods and stuff because major product Rio sells is sourced by their suppliers. So I think this is one of the major value points.
agree with you because there's no way that they can kind of manage this 91 million product items without a very close collaboration with buyers.
Right. They have the 10% specialized goods. So all managed only with a good supplier relation and a good supplier database, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. They having these fast-moving goods. I think they need total quality management. Also, their suppliers need to be really good. They need to use PQ where they don't have a lot of defect products and stuff like that. So the amount required can be produced within the particular time.
Right. Because manufacturing, you can quite there's a lot of these techniques, and they might come up with a lot of these techniques for you to kind of elaborate more, because this is something that they can use.
Right.
Okay.
And then I think one of the major highlights of this industry that there is this fast-moving goods. Customers basically kept interested in their products every now and then. So our repeat customers, they have people coming every week almost buying stuff from you. So it keeps the store interesting. It doesn't make it repetitive. If you go within like a week or two, you won't see the same stuff. So you won't really get bored.
Right.
It is pretty important. Again, this is good relations with your suppliers to be able to provide that kind of fast-moving goods.
Mm-hmm.
Thing is, they sit around their stores in a large number of locations. Like working in some 200, 300 locations.
Right.
I remember the exact number. So they have a really well spread out diversified their stores a lot actually. I think apart from this, they need to increase their stores in other locations apart from Asia and Europe, I think, because world, I think the market will be able to sell their products to a lot of other places. I think the kind they have would interest to places other than Asia and Europe also. So they have a lot of scope for doing that.
Right. Okay.
Then I think one more, the next thing say is their excellent customer service. So when you go inside a shop, you need to be greeted by someone in order to feel happy, I must say. So in order to be maintaining, they need to train their employees and probably data on the quality of the service that they provide. Like, you can ask, for example, customer enters the shop. You can see in how much time is the customer greeted or in how much time he is to buy a product. Does the customer spend within the shop to be able to select clothes for them, stuff like that. Like
that is a very good, guys. That's very good KPIs and measurements, right? That's what just brought up because this is something that it is measurable. It's Rick. It is measurable. Okay, quite good. Yeah.
Measure also should be able to help us improve our operations, not just in the production, but in also selling the products in the shop. Place that they have not gone in a lot, which is the online facilities.
Yes.
Considering the world today, a lot of people have started doing internet shopping and they do a lot of social networking and stuff like that. So it's really important to have your presence on the internet. And Rio is not very much developed in this sector, so they would require more employees. And I think they have a separate team also. They can have a separate IT team take care of the social networking and the internet presence aspect of.
Okay. So I'm curious because we would have a huge number of employees as well, right? I'm just thinking out loud. Say, we don't, you got staff on the shop front, okay? Won't they also be our social media evangelists, right? They work in promoting stuff, put Instagram, put on, take certain pictures, set, from different parts of the world. So they're in different parts of the world, different stores, put in Instagram, kind of having what's going around in neighborhood, right? Or maybe celebrity comes in, then you can take photograph, of people, of whatever, the activities in the store, right? And have people who are dedicated to social media, because what happens is you kind of divorce from that act itself, isn't it?
Right.
Not in the act. You're not participating because you are doing something completely different. Now at Emirates, what happens is the Instagram page is the Instagram is done by all the crew. So there is 20,000 crew there. So they are the ones who manage the Instagram. So that's quite powerful. Now, Emirates had to hire a separate set of people to do the Instagram. It will not be as authentic. Right? These people travel around the world and they take pictures of those travels, right? And of tag Emirates. However, they are talking about travel or food or things like that. So similarly, these guys as well have got access to a lot of, they have employees. So why not use the existing employees in the social media? Because also you will a lot of new feeds coming, a lot of new feeds. It's from different parts of the world. So that's going to make things interesting for the person who is watching it. Right? It's not any from the two guys. Taran?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, in terms of social network, it's better to have from the ground level. The head office, you're able to provide the experience or the up-to-date information, So everywhere in all the industries, it's happening at the, like, for example, at the store level. We'll have more up-to-date information or, trends and things like that.
Okay. What about you, Fatih?
Online shopping for clothes, how successful it could be? Like, will people be more, will be for online shopping for clothes? How do your side fit in and it works?
Right. So what do you think, Taran? How much?
Online, yeah, I like to do online shopping for clothes. So I don't know how successful is this industry. Can be, for Rio, it's not great. There are 10% of the revenue is coming through internet sales as of now, or 10. So we need to see. We need to have a balance. Yeah, we can't really increase, but at the same time have this facility for the people who want to do online shopping.
Right. A real life example of a company called Zappos, right? Please have a look at this company, Zappos, Zappos. They're entirely an online company. They're based in the US, in California. And what they do is sell shoes, Now, if you think clothes are difficult, shoes are going to be extremely difficult, right? Uh, and on top of it, they don't sell their own product, they sell other people's products, right? So, I would, ask you to go and have a look at this company because Toshi is the CEO of this company. He's a very young CEO, and he had a business before this, which he sold to Google, I believe, Google or Amazon for quite a few billions of dollars. And then he started this. And his main thing is the culture of the in the organization. So he does not believe in outsourcing in the call center. The call center is in the States. Right? They have the culture is amazing there. It's so good that other companies come in to observe, and they have tours, they have training sessions on the culture of Zappos. And also when it comes to customers, they have fantastic customer service. So a lot depends on how you are with the customer, how you interact with the customer, right? And in this case, they are very good phone etiquette and conversations with the customers. So especially when people are in different parts of the world and remote parts of the world as well, the internet shopping is getting more and more popular. So you are able to access something, get something which you never had before. So Sharon, you and I are very spoiled because we got lots of malls at our doorstep. Right. So I think that's the reason why we're saying, come on, we don't want to go online shopping. But if we had to kind of drive 200 miles, 300 miles away to get into a shopping mall and still you don't get really good shops, we will certainly hang out on the internet and try to get stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the kind of customer service they have in US as compared to in UAE, like for example in US that you buy a stuff and then you can return it, any point of time.
Correct.
No question asked.
Amazing service in the US.
So here, even if you return it within the prescribed time, they will say, no, it's not possible, maybe the tag is broken or whatever. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Being in Dubai, I don't think people will want to go online shopping because shopping is a pastime here, and people like going shopping, and it's fun, and it's so close by as well, right? But if you are, at a distance, you can't get to certain shops. You don't. Look at these days, right? Books on Amazon or on just downloading the books. It's fantastic. I love that concept because not have to go from bookshop to bookshop trying to look for a particular book. It's just there. You just download it. Right? It's amazing if you Kindle. So the other thing is, but understand you're saying clothes is something which people are getting used to. Right? People are getting used to that concept. Still, people are not comfortable buying clothes online. Yeah? So that is a problem. It's a challenge that they are overcoming. But internet sales has grown tremendously. Yeah. Anything else?
To add a point that 10% sales through internet is because they have very fast-moving concepts. They generally take a lot of time to decide whether they want to buy the cloth from the online shop or not. Because, see, like I said, we have malls and stuff. So if we don't, we obviously would want to have our options. So in case we're doing some shopping online, we would definitely take like 3 to 4 days or okay, let's
Yes.
say 2 days or so, maybe the clothes are off by the time. Also, this is one of the reasons why they have only 10% sales through internet.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Swati. Right. And go to the next one.
This is a stakeholder matrix that I created based
Yeah.
by
Good. To talk through that each quadrant and one second. Swati, are you familiar with Mendelow's matrix?
Yes.
Okay. Right. Go ahead.
so basically all quadrants, each
Mhm.
is the power and the amount of interest that they hold in the business. We start with the first one, which is like the low power and the low interest.
Mhm.
They don't have a lot of interest and power in our business. They would be minimal effort. Could be taken. It could be something like community groups which have absolutely no or low interest in business.
Mhm.
Could the instead of our suppliers, or it could be unskilled laborers. People
Mhm.
absolutely have no interest in our business. They would have
Right.
given the minimal effort. There are people who have high interest in our business, but they don't have the power to do anything about it.
Mhm.
We need to keep them informed so that they do
Mhm.
not shift to the other end. There would be people like environmentalists who are very much interested in knowing how our operations are and whether we're taking care of the environment enough or not, whether we're
Mhm.
following our CSR properly and stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
They need to be informed pretty well. They are employees and designers. They're pretty much interested in our profitability and I think their salaries, whether our company is doing well or not.
Mhm.
They do
Mhm.
not have that much of a power, but they still have a medium amount of power, I would say. So I am the informed section.
Yes.
They have to keep satisfied people who have really high power to run our business, but they don't have that much interest and they do not follow our business a lot.
Mhm.
See the government has a lot of power. They can change regulations, they can um, tax rules, they have impositions on our business. They have a lot of power. But until we do something wrong or we come in the limelight, I don't think they have a lot of interest in our business. So
Right.
they would be we keep them satisfied so as not to instigate them or provoke them.
Right. Okay.
Even our major competitors have a lot of power because any action that they do can actually affect us.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not sure why I kept them in the low interest, but I think you have that much interest in our business as much as the banks and stuff. So that's why I put them in the low interest section.
Okay. Okay.
I have the key players who is the CEO, directors, absolutely one with the working of the company, and they have the almost utmost power because they're like the owners. So they come under the key players. For
Mhm.
I think the suppliers they have a lot of power in the case of Rio because, like I told you, if the suppliers back out or anything happens to the suppliers or their company, our operations are going to be affected really badly. We have
Yeah.
a lot of interest in our workings also because in case we need something or in case functions our operations are not going very well, then their payments and stuff will be due. So we have a lot of power and interest in our business.
Mm-hmm.
Finance us like the bankers or who have basically funded us. I think those people will be one of the most interested people in our businesses. Plus, a lot of power because they fund us. I would say using 91 million products will require a lot of funds. So that kept financiers in the key players because they have huge power and huge interest. Customers are also important because they have a lot of power. If big customers do not like our operations, they can probably get together and create like problems for us. They have interest in our CSR and our operations, like how we work, are we like green, like earning credentials and stuff.
Yes.
They have a lot of only loyal customers have a lot of interest in our business.
Right.
Or one of the key players.
Right. So, say key players, how do you, what would be your communication strategy for them?
I regularly either meet them or we can regularly keep taking their feedback so as to keep them satisfied, and also we can improve based on what they want. We can listen from them, feedback from them.
What you're looking at is a structured communication, right? With them. Okay. So, for example, either quarterly, like half yearly, you have structured communication with these type of groups. Yeah. And then seek feedback as well, like you said. But another thing that you will be doing is if you're going into strategic projects, right? These key players, you will get input from them, and as well as you will inform them of your strategic project, right? Because you need to buy in. They're funding it as well, right? So they need to know about the strategic projects because that may change the course of direction of the company. Yeah. So that is quite important for you to communicate. What you, Tarun? Any others?
I think employees are players, and keeping them informed, they have to involve, or they are involved, right? So, media, you could argue, is the community groups, perhaps. Media, general public, yeah, per se, or prospective customers.
So you not have put the employees there. That's what you're saying. You would put them as key players. It depends how you justify it, right? It depends on the manner in which you look and you justify. So that's why in this one, 4 different people may have 4 different answers, but it's all of them might be correct depending on how you justify it. Right? Okay, any update from you? Any input?
No.
Say about the employees. Well, even I was thinking of putting in the key players, but I didn't put them. Was because in case they would have told that the designers are very limited and we don't have a base of other designers, then we put on the key players. Considering the fact that there are a lot of colleges where a lot of upcoming designers are available to us, like plenty of them. Are them in the key players because they wouldn't have that much power against us. Power, but they definitely have interest.
Okay. I mean,
Means risk has been flagged, right,
yes.
about the talented designer who could leave to work for Arrow. So may that flag the risk. So I would consider them key player because if they don't create the products which they are creating, then Rio would be nothing, right?
Right. It depends on how you justify it. The other thing is low customers. um, I'm having my question mark there, right? Is I'm just thinking, okay, how can they disrupt? And it's a massive company. Now, what can they do? Right? Yes, supplier, yes, they can. So, some of the customers, the lower customers, they would be high-end customers, right, purchasing high-end. So, what kind of disruption would they cause is one of my concerns. Yeah.
So, for example, Rio goes into an unethical business practice. For example, they're hiring child labor or stuff like that.
Mhm.
Loyal customers would be of importance to you because if the loyal customers stop buying, then first of all, the regular income to an extent comes down. Not going to be a lot, but yeah, their regular income would come down. Looking at that, a lot of other people would also give a bad name to Rio. So at the end of the day, a little action done by the loyal customers would down to the prospective customers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Depends on the number of loyal customers. Huh? Loyal customers, 2% and 9% is not. I mean, they are indifferent. The other
they don't
88% or the
have to buy.
90%, yes, exactly.
Right, right.
Right. So you have to, when you put, and I get what you're saying, but it may not be appropriate.
Okay.
It's pretty good. It's very good. It's a good decision for us to have. Okay. Anything else that you have?
No, that's it.
No. Okay. So then, Swati, let's go to, if you can. Right. What I will do, so I'll just screen with you. The next time we will start from information strategy. What I'm going to give you is, let's close this, and I have something else here. Let me Hello? Sorry, have I muted myself all this time?
Okay, okay.
Because I can figure that's why I messaged you.
Ah, sorry. I was rabbiting on for 10 minutes. Right? So, said was very okay. Um, I don't know. Recording got recorded even, so not sure. Anyway, but I have captured the issues that we will face. Okay, and what I would want you to do. We have spoken about all these things. These are not new things for you. Okay, we spoke about stuff, how it will impact, tools that we can, the internet sales as well. Okay, issues that will come about. Fraud is something that's never there. I mean, from an internet perspective, now this is another problem or challenge that they will have to deal with. Product issues. Okay, we have 50 suppliers. We've got we've got internet sales, and we've got sales from other parts of the world. How are we going to manage that? Okay. Overseas, there are so many risks involved, and what they are. The risk we spoke. What is project-related risks? Okay. How are we going to mitigate them? Growth risks. So, looking at growth, say, is not sufficient. Okay. What risks involved in this growth? How are we going to mitigate that? Okay. Because there will be staff, working capital, logistics, quality issues that we need to think about. Issues, we did discuss that. Value chain impact in from a CSR perspective, as costing, right? How can we manage it? The issues that come up, CSR reporting, which is important as well, and we have SARs all over the paper. So it's best that you have examples other companies' CSR reports. So what I will do is I will try to get some CSR reports of other companies, right? And we can review these the next time. Okay. Funding. What are your funding choices? Cost of funding, dividend, as the impact of dividend. Right? That we spoke about is what model to use if you're going to a new project. Okay, and to apply these models, that's the important part. Ethics, right? It can be there in from your procure to sale, right? The cycle there can be ethics. So be how to answer the questions, as well as you will fill the blanks as to what area, the areas of ethics that will come. Okay. Those are the key issues that I have captured, right? What you do is it will be quite interesting for us to have 3 different people coming up with their views and see, where we land with regards to these issues. Okay. Let's stop for now. Have you got any questions? What about?
No.
Right. Fatih, if you can stay online because I want to have a chat with you. Any questions from you, Taran?
No.
Okay. So I'll just stop sharing and we'll meet next time. I'm going to send this to you guys right away. Okay? And I have created this in eNote because I'm in a Mac. Let me know if you have problems, okay, in trying to run it. Good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Fatih.
Hi.
Hi. So, tell me a little bit about you. How you started the SEMA and everything.
Okay. I'm from Sri Lanka, and
All right.
I'm a chartered accountant.
Oh,
So this I did chartered accountancy about some 15 years ago. So
okay.
last year they came up with this SEMA came up with this idea of giving the under mutual agreement some qualifications. So
Wow.
they had the option of doing only the strategic case study.
Okay.
So I just opted for it, but in fact, time-wise, I was finding really difficult to make it.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought just try it, touch with someone will force me at least to do things.
Yeah.
I need to pull myself together and start reading a little bit and going through the papers and doing. I was at least even saying, if I'm not prepared this time, at least I'll go for the next May.
Right. Right. Okay.
I just to give a shot and see where I kind of
All right. Okay. So, I mean, is you should be able to pass the exam, but the one that you have to put in effort, right? That is quite important. Otherwise, you will not pass the exam. Because will you have time now?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Then I would say immediately you should have put box and really quickly start doing your studies, right? What I will so 3 modules, right? Are you aware of these? And I say
Yes, E3 okay for me. E3 and the finance one is okay for me, and
right.
the CSR part, the question was a little bit kind of new for me. That's the only one I have to.
Right. Okay. So where do you work, Fatih?
In a company called Dabba Group Holding Company, and
What do they do?
Actually a family-owned company, and we own a few companies like Petromin Corporation. I don't know whether you have heard of it.
No.
Okay, they are into lubricants, and they are the leaders, market leaders in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
And we have a company called Red Sea Housing,
Mm-hmm.
which is listed in stock market in Saudi Arabia, but their main operations is in Dubai.
Right.
And we also have a food company, which is a chicken business, which is chicken further for that, and also a packaging company with AV partner with a US company called Gripe.
Right.
So in the 4 segments basically. I'm in the board company responsible for the concern and the board reporting, etc.
Right. Okay. And how long you been there?
1 year.
Well, okay. Fine. Been there for some time. So what I would do for you, Fatih, is try so thing go through the case study. Right? You have to go through that. The thing is not just go through it, make notes, right? Because otherwise you'll fall asleep. Right? And I will send you the notes, right? I'll send you the notes, and I will kind of put together a nice format, in the sense I'll just go through them, see if they are right, and send it to you, right? I will also, in the meantime, this week I'll send you the recordings that we did, right? Recordings they were missed, but the others I will send it to you. What else? Do is you will see there's a lot of interaction, okay? It's not, my classes are not where I talk all the time, but the students have to participate. And by doing that, they are kind of very, they get used to the case study. They apply the theory into the case study. Right? That is the key thing. Because with CIMA, there are 4 areas in your case study that you have to master. Right? One is your people, leadership skill, right, technical skill, and business skill. And they want to see each one of them in the answer. And you may not be able to apply all 4, at least to the maximum they will want. If they give you a kind of a sum, right, and ask you to analyze, if you analyze it purely on a financial way, they will fail you because you have not thought of the other 3 angles, right? Because of that, you have to be quite careful. I have even before I've had chartered accountants from India. They're very good when it comes to their kind of finance bit, but when it comes to the rest of it, they're not. Yeah. So, and generally, accountants are not trained in these other 3 characteristics that much. But CIMA is forcing the accountants to be, trained in that way, so that the future accountants that we produce will have those characteristics. Yeah. So, don't worry about it too much. I think you have enough time from now to then, but you need to put in effort.
Sure.
Yeah. So head for the class, for the exam. Wow. You have check whether you can do it.
Yeah.
Because I had another student who was registering tonight, right? He was management case study and he had not registered. So just quickly see if you can register, because I think you have a good chance.
I time till February 9th, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's end of February, so you have time.
Okay.
Yeah, sufficient time. Yeah, I would urge you to register for the exam,
Okay.
and then take it from there. Yeah. So you got my the email from CIMA, is it? That's how you.
In fact, CIMA said they want to have this train in the course on 3rd and 14th of February. So that I gave my email ID to them, and then
Yes.
they contacted.
They have forwarded it to me, right? Because the thing was we have not got enough responses, and if we don't have sufficient people, it's not worth having that class. I think it's a good thing that you registered. 13th, 14th will be a bit too late.
Too late, yeah.
Now you have time.
Yeah.
So if you know of any others as well, so is there a possibility of contacting the Sri Lankan chartered accountants, because we could run a special session for them?
Since I'm basically, for some reason, I'm getting access to CIMA, the Chartered Accountants Sri Lanka, but I connect to the Dubai one, UAE one.
Yes. You know why? Because you have registered yourself in Dubai, in Middle East. Okay.
Right.
So because of that, you get the Dubai people contacting you, and the Dubai guys are quite active. That's the reason. So if you can, even next time, it will be interesting for me. You can put me in touch with your resident or your student counselor, whoever it is, right?
Okay.
So I can run a special session for their May intake.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I can do also is it's better to do an online session because I have time then, because then I can do the online sessions rather than going to Sri Lanka and trying to do sessions there, because then it is quite intense. They can't take too much, it's not possible. Right? Because
What happens is in Sri Lanka, there are a lot of institutes which provide SEMA training.
right, yeah.
And even for strategic case study, they were doing it through emails.
Right. Oh, that's no good.
That's
No
not bad.
way.
Tried it last time, it didn't work out well. So the classes are mushrooming and it's fully packed. I mean,
No.
it's all.
No, the thing is, Patty, the way the today you have to approach it in a completely different way.
Exactly.
It's not the way that they're used to, and I can see that with the Indian child accountant, because they're used to being taught something and you just learn it, kind of parrot fashion. But this is a more MBA, and you're discussing things, and you challenge and you think outside the box and things like that. Yeah. All right. So I think first thing what you should do to the C website right away and register for your exam,
Okay.
and I'll send you. You got the case study with you, Rio?
No, that.
Don't worry, I'll send it to you now, and I will also send you the homework that you have to do.
Okay.
Okay then. Good night.
Good night.